Thank you. Welcome to another episode of Boychild Chat. Auntie Riz open mic. Happy to be here. Hot Saturday. Would have been nice to be at the beach, but such is life. To take this opportunity to really pass my personal condolences to the family, friends, media fraternity, and fans of Charles Oda. Very unfortunate, we lost a thespian, really young age. I know the industry is mourning. So pole sana, may the family and friends find peace in all this, and we stand with you during this time. The gentleman sitting across me is a friend, an old friend from back in the day. By the way, we come from the city, Kisumu City. And there's so much that I'd want to say about him, but I'll be doing you disservice, Amin. So I've got to read it so that I really bring this out. So normally I don't, but for you, I just want to tell them who you are. So joining us today is Amin Virani. Amin is not only a talented visual storyteller, events producer, and project manager, but he also brings a heartfelt commitment to fatherhood. He's a father. A lot of our conversations today will be around media and what you do in media, and your perspective and how media shapes how it shapes people's thoughts and the influence media has on people. And femicide has been a hot topic. I think we've lost people and we didn't need to lose them. So karibu sana Amin. Hapa si ugota alafu uanga tunasema boys let's chat.
Boys let's chat?
Yeah.
Good, nice.
So yeah, welcome to it. Lakini, before Amin said, I want to put him on the spot because he's my friend. Yes. So before we get into it, yes. You're a visual storyteller. Yes. You know, you're behind the mic and the cameras. I just want to hear from you, and this is deep down from what you do. Mm-hmm. If there was any production that you do that would be out of this world, creativity, something that has never been done before. Yes. What would you do? So can we just get a little glimpse into your wildest creative imagination? Yes. In your space?
Because of the fluid nature of creativity, whenever I'm influenced by almost everything around me all the time. I'm one of those guys, if I go and stay in Kampala, I will come back speaking like a Ugandan, even if I was there for hours.
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's because of that. I've never been asked that question in my life, but because you've asked, and I was just thinking about it earlier. In a creative group today, somebody sent an animation of Superman, but Kenyan, right? It's called K-Man. And they've done it using, it's a popular thing that people do on social media and YouTube, where they use actual audio of events that have happened around the world, interesting events in different fields, and they make animations out of it.
Yeah.
And if they could really make like a story of K-Man, that would be so amazing, I'm also the outgoing treasurer of the Kenya Actors Guild, so what happened with the passing of Oda has really hurt us terribly as a fraternity. So thanks for bringing that up. But so one of our guys in the group posted it. I think it was the great Peter Kawa, who should be an incoming official soon.
Yeah.
So if I could make like a superhero story based on Kenyan culture, East African culture, that would be spectacular. There is the one we did, the one that won last year's Oscar nomination for Kenya.
Yeah.
Terrastorm. Each of the films we chose for the Oscar nominations for Kenya were all unique. we did a documentary, a famous filmmaker. So now I just have to talk about shop, but I'm sorry that I'm talking about work.
Yeah.
But we nominated a documentary about a lady who was accused of witchcraft in Kilifi, where that is common, similar to Kisii. And then in the year after, we had a action film based on the Islamic, radical Islamic insurgency in the north of Kenya. Then we had animation Terrastorm, which was also kind of what like what you're asking me. If I would ever really put my heart into something that I would like to do, that would be one thing. And then this year we are going with a Swahili story about, based on the spirit of Mekatilili or Menza. So we've tried to be very progressive and tell our own story all the time. These are the things we live for. These are the things that make us happy sometimes and all the time. We get maybe not paid very well in that particular field in terms of local production. And so sometimes we get money from productions from outside. But we use that money, whatever we get, to grow ourselves and our own industry. And I think in the coming years, we're going to be really good.
And media does have an impact. And that now perhaps drives us into my question for you. Media is a great influencer.
Yes.
And especially to youth right now. Because, there's social media influence. There's, of course, TV and, all the other media. So media by itself is an influencer. Now, I mean...
yes.
How do you use, and you guys in media, how do you use media to positively influence? Or should you sometimes, do we need to curtail you? Because some of the information, like I said, people go to media to get information and learn from it. But some of what you churn out is raw.
Here is the thing. I am not qualified to answer, because when I started working in radio in the early 2000s, I was like a technician first, and then from doing the production work to being on radio, because I can talk a little bit. So they said, get to present. Then the law changed. They said you need to have a degree. So then they're like, we're going to reduce your salary. Then I just left it all together. So I'm not qualified as a journalist. I'm not a qualified journalist, so I cannot answer you as a journalist, right? And the pressures that they face. But I have worked within the media fraternity, right? And media houses are businesses. Watu lazima wauze gazeti.
Lakini maybe mimi naona hivi. See, I mean, sometimes we project what we see.
Right.
When this group of guys watch news, some girl has been killed somewhere.
Yes.
A lot of times you'll see that repeat itself. So in another 1 week, another incident has happened, and another incident has happened. So is it usually that we are projecting what we are seeing? And it still begs the question, how much should media show us?
In the words of the great Eminem, the next time somebody gets shot, he should be blamed. I think it's in sync for the moment. I would have to again Google that first. And Tupac was also the late great Tupac, who I grew up on, was also saying that you cannot blame the person telling the story for the issues that are happening in society. The issues happening in society are widespread and are caused by a plethora of different reasons. So we cannot single out media as the reason why a murderer has inspired himself to go out and kill.
That's fine. So then why can't the media shape its production around positively influencing or getting the minds of...
You sound like Ezekiel Ntua, I think.
And I don't want to. It's catching up with you, yeah. See, we said we were in school 20 years ago. If people do them, let's not get these boys to do the math. But I hear you. But I'm still, because this issue of girls getting killed, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't sit comfortable with anyone.
The unique thing about media as it is today, and the way it's used today across the board, even with the police, is that girls have been killed this whole time since we were kids.
So why is it highlighted now more?
We just didn't see it on TV. Nobody had a smartphone to take a photo of the body. Like, nobody could trace the number of the Airbnb where it happened. None of those things existed, but
Those
girls were getting killed all the
But
same.
is that statistically it?
Yeah, on Russia, I haven't got the actual maths, but I used to hear about, people getting killed. So girls and boys were both getting killed. All the time I've been alive, they're still getting killed, right? And the reasons of why they're getting killed are more or less, the same. Things that are going to be driven around poverty, things that are going to be driven around, if people grow up in broken homes. If you grow up in a broken home, it's a broken home. Yeah. Now, whether
why should that manifest?
Whether the TV brings you only gospel programs and madrasa programs will not change the fact that you grew up in a broken home.
Yeah.
That your father used to beat you.
So then why? Okay, that's fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough. But now, because there's a lot more people on these gadgets on TV, so basically back to media, why don't you create programs, productions that would want to talk about, because definitely there is underlying issues around these matters, like you say, be they poverty, be they mtu amekuliwa fair, jafurahi, ama, story,
psychological issues.
Yes, all this, which stem from perhaps broken homes. Yes. Mental issue is a big issue. So then, why is it that, because at the end of the day, we must, here I champion, in this space, I'm championing for the boy and the boy child. But if these girls are going to get killed, no one will want to end up with these boys. Because it almost feels like, tuwakuna shida.
It's very difficult if us as educated and fairly reasonable people start associating femicide with boys. Those two things are separate issues.
But so far what we have seen is they are boys or men, so to speak.
How many cases can we cite?
Let's look at what has been highlighted very recently.
Yeah, how many cases can we cite?
Out of the ones that we saw, the 6 incidents in the past, I think 8-9 months, 4 or 5 point to issues around either love, money, but a man was involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can, on this day, with authority say that no man has been killed.
Have they? Or maybe these are also those other issues where men are getting killed, but nobody is speaking about it because they are men.
I remember one actor, Jamal, getting stabbed by his girlfriend. She's in Langata prison. Yeah. Must be one of the most prettiest ladies in that prison. But she killed him. She stabbed him.
Yeah, I think I recall that story.
Yeah, so
well, but I mean,
girls
that's
are
one
getting
in
killed,
what?
boys are getting killed.
People, I don't think anyone should get killed.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that the issue of femicide, and I'm sure there must be women who've killed a few women too.
And they probably have. But what we want to really talk about
I don't think that we should associate femicide with boy child, because the things we need to do to improve the well-being of the boy child there's so much more to be done, right? Before we get there, because I'm looking at I have 2 sons, by the way. I don't know how many sons you have.
4. 6 between us.
So 6 sons between us.
Yeah.
And my brother has 3 daughters, right? And between our 6 sons, all 4 or 6 of them, I'm looking at none of them thinking, there goes that murderer. That future murderer right there. It never crosses my mind.
Not as a parent, it would never.
No. And I think his teachers, his friends, I don't think they're thinking that too. I don't think he's passing there and the maths teacher is just like,
that's it.
There goes look, murderer is passing. Future murderer is passing. No, that's not happening. That's certainly not happening.
But now let me just take you back, kidogo.
Yes.
There's quite a bit of frustration among the boy child. There is. If you look at society, even
there has been some changes.
Let's put femicide aside for a moment.
And that's what I want to talk about. Not femicide.
It's fine. We'll marry this at some point, but let's talk about this. There's many challenges these boys are going through. Maybe they were not educated enough. Maybe the girl was elevated much more than the boy was. Maybe opportunities were opened to the girl more than they were to the boy. I met a boy about 6 months ago, and he said he was underage. He's now grown, but he got this girl pregnant.
Wow.
Things happen. And when he did, the girl had to have the baby. The parents made sure that she had the baby, and then she continued with school. On the other hand, he was juvenile, so he was sentenced. Never mind, they were age mates. Now, when this boy got out of wherever he was, time had already lapsed. He was 4 years later. He didn't see the need to go back to school. He was only in Form 2 at the time. Now, this girl has continued. Of course, she's even finished school. Now, that already is a frustration in itself, because the girl was like, sasa nitafanya nini? Mi wacha nikwe basi tu makanika hapa, ni spanner boy. He's actually a spanner boy. So what are some of these great challenges that these boys are going through that's not making them level up to these girls? Shida iko wapi?
I'm not a religious person, but I'm going to have to throw religion into the mix. And at every level I will. In all my discussions concerning lessons, society lessons. The Aga Khan once said that no matter how much, and I'm paraphrasing, didn't say it exactly like that. No matter how much money you get, no matter where you go in the Western world, like very developed world, or you go to like very poor part of the world, challenges will always be there. The nature of the challenge might start to change, but the challenge will always be there, because that's the curse of the
dynamics of
that's how it is. You're a human being. That's what you go through.
Yeah.
Now, in a developing country like ours, with 55 million people now in 2024, and as I said earlier when we were talking, that there's twice as more young people, younger than me, than are older than me, and we are a developing country. So think about it. Poverty, opportunities, and then you throw in the gender balance and how the gender equation has changed over time. And for the better, girls are getting a better chance. For centuries and millennia, it may not have been the same.
Absolutely.
So we need.
But that was a shift.
Yes, we need to raise our voice.
For me, there should not be shift. It should be shared focus.
It can't be.
Why
it can
not?
Never be. Equality is an equity, very difficult aspirations.
Absolutely.
To work towards.
Yeah.
If I have a daughter, and me and you don't have, so maybe we'll have to talk about our nieces, right? There are things, there are places, there are jobs that to date, women can do better than men. And there are those that men can do better than women. And a few will, cross, like in everything in life, a few will beat that equation. We'll always want our daughters to be in a safe place. In fact, we had a rule that the males in our family used to talk about way back when. My grandfather and my uncle used to share a lot of wisdom, right? I think my uncle down there at the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But they used to have jam sessions.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And because we had a cousin sister of ours who got married in Tanzania, and then they had a problem with the husband, and of course he was asked to intervene or what may you, and he said, you are married, right? So your sister got married, your daughter got married, and so I asked him, what are we intervening? Should we go beat this guy up?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we can't beat this guy up. We should have very simple rules. If our girl has gone to this boy's house and she's well fed, her kids are looked after, she's not being harassed and beaten or whatever, and they're just, the normal life challenges will always be there.
Yeah.
And up to that point, we should not even be concerned. We should not be involved. We should not say anything. And I carry that also with my friends who are ladies, and all the females in my life. I tell them, listen, first of all, when you're choosing your partner, mythical. When you guys are getting lovey-dovey now, where the hell was I?
So what opinion do I have?
I'm a part of this.
Yeah.
I said, if you're not happy with this person, please point it out.
Yeah.
Raise your voice, say it, what you want, and we will stand by that. We stood
decision,
by
you
when you chose, and will stand by you with your new choice.
Yeah.
Right? And we need to, I will teach my kids this, and also I have that policy of when it comes to values, I would teach my boys and the girls the same values.
But that's fair enough. I think
Yes.
that cuts across a lot of values. But now, very specifically, you're a father of boys.
Yes.
Do you think you're ever going to have a conversation where you
Yes.
tell them to respect girls in a certain way?
Absolutely.
And I'm still going back into this issue, where they are able to say or to accept a no, to know, sometimes I hear some of lame excuses that, people say, but sidem alijileta, sinie aliingia Airbnb. Ni sawa, because I don't think alijileta kuuliwa. I think there was definitely something that, yes, other than her wanting to get killed. So would you have conversations with boys, with men, where you educate people or pass out an information, you as Amin, but also within the media, that I think just to tell boys, men, it's not that serious. Akikata ama hata kama amekula fair ama whatever, let it be.
When it comes to, male-female relationships, first of all, age appropriateness is something I would definitely be teaching.
Yeah.
Safe, all the safe ways to interact sexually and non-sexually. The health concerns. Definitely going to speak about that. And again, I would like to reiterate, I'm not looking at my sons as murderers. I'm not going to associate their sexual education and their social education with murder, with homicide. If somehow that happens, it'll have to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, but still it doesn't stop us to remind you boys that it's not that serious. It never is. You might want to date a girl. If she says no, let it be. There's many beans in the githeri,
Sure.
So walk away. Killing her doesn't matter. A lot of times it even just gets
I would
you
like
in more
to
trouble.
please stop you from associating social education, sexual education with murder. Those two things are not the same thing.
They may not be the same thing, but also what I'm pointing out is there is last week.
Yes.
Sorry, I think 2 weeks ago. There was, all the ladies going in the street and men who are supporting it, saying this, and because this is a hot topic right now, I thought to air our voice and say, and how do you air your voice? You air it by telling the boys, don't be the target. Let it happen in other spheres. Let it be spoken about.
I'd like to separate the issue
separately.
I'd separate the issue and address the two issues separately.
Yeah.
Yes, we would like to teach our young boys and girls about social education, sexual education, the health risks, the social risks, the life risks, and benefits.
Yes, and age appropriate is definitely, and therefore I'm talking about these 25-year-olds.
My issue is, first of all, it's the girl child that needs that education most, not the boy child. Right? It's the girl child that needs to know how to be situationally aware, not the boy child. Right? There are parts of the city, we live in Nairobi City, that you can't be seen in at a certain hour.
Yeah.
On your own.
So are you saying that if you're seen umejipeleka?
We will probably address the circumstances of how you got there at that time. That's something that we'll need to discuss. Second to that is that there are parts of the city where I consider myself an OG of sorts, I can be seen on my own. Let alone find some girl. There are times I'm driving down certain corners and I see some lone woman or man. Maybe I think in my mind, what is he doing here? I start adding up some things and maybe it will tabulate. For a lady, I'd be like, dressed like that, here, at this time.
Judgmental much?
There ain't no way that's going to happen, right?
But why, you can keep my voice, why is it that women have to constantly be aware of what you're wearing, where you're going?
Yes, absolutely.
As a man, you don't think about these things when you're leaving your home. Do you think about, I can't leave the house past this and this time. I can't dress like
listen,
this.
these social norms, right? Me, I'm multiracial. These social norms in Asia, in Arabia, where we come from Europe, from Africa, developed over thousands of years. On society level, community level, where every community figured out what was important for their women. Do you know why she's dressed like this? Fundamentally, do you know why? Even now, she's still here with me. Do you know why? Thank you. Because in Arabia, during the Prophet's time, peace be upon him, there was a lot of femicide. Now that was femicide. That wasn't what we are discussing here.
But we are losing people.
I
mean, but
you cannot compare what was happening in Makkah at that time.
Yeah.
You know, you can compare how those stories are narrated to what we are witnessing now. Femicide at that time was at community level. People were killing girls when they were born. Right? The value of girls was in some villages lower than the value of the animals. Right? Once a girl reached maturity, akipata periods, huyo ashaolewa. Zafanyika Arabuni mpaka sai. So let's not pretend that we don't know.
Fair enough. But what I want
we'll have to definitely in this particular episode separate femicide from raising our boys and our girls.
So we will.
When we are teaching our girls how to keep themselves safe, we're going to be teaching our boys along with them on how to keep our girls safe. So if you're a boy and there's a girl in your group and she wants to, you're going out, let me explain, because I'm definitely not having any conversation where femicide and raising our children's boy or girl are put in the same conversation, because none of my kids are murderers.
Yeah.
And if it does happen, I told you it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Or your kids, for that matter.
Yeah. Anyone's for that matter.
I would rather teach these kids, boys and girls, how to keep themselves safe.
Since I am in my space, my space is biased kidogo. I'm in a boys' space, and I want to hear from a distinguished gentleman like you, who is a proponent for the girls and the boys at large. I'm specifically today speaking to the boys, as I do every day, perhaps because of the space where I am in. It's a boys' let's chat. How would you tell the boys to just take the no as a no, and to respect the ladies in the space that they are ladies, and not to put them under certain conditions where I will respect you, I will honor you, so but please make sure you don't dress inappropriately, don't be at the wrong place which I don't find to be right. Make sure, so I just want you, to tell these boys, without creating so many, until you do this and this, so that they can respect these girls, and because they listen to me the most.
So guys, what age are we addressing? Because how I talk to my 5-year-old is different from my 10-year-old.
So our space generally speaks to boys between 18 and 25.
Oh, okay, that's good. That helps me to answer.
Yeah.
Boys between 18 and 25, coming out of high school, university age, maybe after university.
Yeah.
It's the most difficult time for boys, right? When we were growing up, maybe we weren't like very well to do in terms of money. We were not financially well off. And if we were like in an institution of higher learning, we couldn't even talk to a girl, because we're like, how? We can't even take you for a date. It was we had to. The relationships I built with girls was very organic. It's unless I spoke to you, you got to know me, you got to like the things I like.
Yeah.
As of only way we were dating, because I wasn't taking you to no cinema.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing. So that's the first challenge that boys face. And girls, take note. Here's what it is.
Especially because they are both at the same space, yeah. They've both either just graduated or finished high school. So where is the other one supposed to get the money
when
from?
we are discussing that, because girls, older guys will hit on them and they'll have money and what have you. Let's just have a different financial, I have a nephew and a niece, both university age right now.
Yeah.
from Kitale, and of course the dad gives the daughter more money than he gives the son, and I'm with that. I'm like, yeah, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like boychild. I'm like, apana, boychild. You have to go through things, but you have to understand.
A hustle.
You have to be
No, but I get it, because you're putting the girl in a position not to be compromised.
Yes,
absolutely.
Right? And that is the lesson we're going to teach 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
If you're in a group of friends, girls and boys, look after each other. Tumetoka nje, we're in the dunda thing, we're getting high as anything, high as a kite, we're mixing it up. And if one of the girls in the group starts talking some dodgy character, and somehow 2 or 3 of you are more situationally aware than others, please share. You'll be like, please watch out for A, B, C, D, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're a girl, you yourself umekapa umejitanda. Now, you could have also have not jitanda, your cleavage could also be popping out, we've been seeing all those ties. Why are we not shooting like that? Why are you not dressed like that?
Is that a direct question?
I'm just asking, yeah.
So, well, I anchor on religion, so...
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, but the principle of religion is based on that. You're just that way. It's to some level to your safety.
Yeah.
Right? To some level. I won't get in depth on which verse and why and
Yeah.
how. But overall, it's quick to understand. It's that quickness to understand that I want us to apply back in the club. If you are a girl and you want to dress promiscuously, just make sure that you are in an environment where you have people who can protect you if things go sideways. If you get too high, you have a nice strong girl or a nice strong boy next to you who can keep you safe until you get home, right? And we had also a common rule we had back when I was in my early 20s with the guys in university ahead of me, and we used to drink together, and sometimes we would chips funga each other. So the rule was that if any girl in the group goes home with any guy around, or if we get a girl we don't know and we go home with her, if she's too drunk, we're not going to do things. We'll wait till the morning when everybody's a little bit sober and decide if at that point.
Do the boys of now know this level of, I don't know whether to call it respect, but let me just, whatever level it is, do they understand that dating is fine? There's all these social issues that are around clubbing and everything. But and that's what I keep telling them, that they must at some point realize not to take advantage of situations.
Yeah, but this is education. But this is now where that peer education comes in, that good manners comes in.
Yeah.
If we're going to raise our kids like thugs, we're going to reap the benefits.
So as parents, yes, absolutely, and we do that to our children. But like I said at the beginning, media plays a huge role. So some of the productions, please keep this at the back of your keep it at the back of your mind, so that maybe next year, that grand thing that you have in mind, have something that just sort of shapes the mind of the boy to know.
Sure, I outside of media as a person.
Yeah.
Without a single camera or microphone next to me, as a human being, these are the lessons I give to the people who are close to me.
Yeah.
Right? The people who I have influence over. Without a camera on my hand, without a microphone in my hand. Unfortunately, for me, media was always a job. I was going to work, I was going to get paid, I was enhancing some skill. So I didn't never normally see it as my responsibility alone to create content, to teach people how to behave. Man, let's go to church or whatever, man, do your thing. If your parents, maybe if your parents are not really there, how do you say, morality is questionable, find somebody who can guide you. It's not easy, I know it's easier to say this than to do it, especially when you are in those compromised positions. And today, you can get counseling online, there's counseling in many institutions. Not even our time there wasn't. Our time, but it was how it was.
Yeah, it was freestyling.
So we needed that peer. We needed that peer support.
Yeah.
So now there's access to information, and when you say media, I don't know which media you're referring to, because the media I think you're talking about is very weak. There's no, it's not there, not there. That's gone. Most
the
of
mainstream,
conventional, terrestrial media, electronic media, which could be radio, TV, and to some extent newspapers, in terms of print, those are gone. Today, majority of the people between 18 and 25 are on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, Facebook maybe for us guys. Yeah. Right?
Nimeambiwa hiyo kitu mara nyingi mpaka sasa I decided to open a TikTok because I can't.
It's not. So now, they may be 50,000 TikTokers in Kenya.
Yeah.
You're going to how? Control them to make
Other
which
countries
content?
are controlling them. China, for example, is controlling it.
Why not live in China?
In terms of no,
Or
niko
live
hapa,
in
but why
China?
can't if you tell me why kwa nini siendi China, why can't we bring China here
We
in
can't
terms
bring
of
China
content?
here. We can't bring China here.
Why not?
China is an authoritative communist state. The way their community, society, and government is run is very far from what we have here. I am grateful every day of my life that I'm born in Kenya, where we have struggled and we fought for this freedom. You know, me and you were raised in a part of the country where we paid the highest price for this freedom.
Yeah.
Kids were shot outside our school. What are you talking
That's
about?
true, I know.
Why are you acting up?
I know.
Now you want to go back you want to create Tenement Square again?
Napana, but we are
Already
saying,
been shot
listen,
enough?
I mean, you know, just 10 minutes ago you told me
Yes, please.
different, you'd speak to your children depending on their ages.
Sure.
I mean, you wouldn't talk to
Well,
them
I
about
understand
sexuality now. That's a conversation I have with my kids, by the way.
Yes.
My oldest is, he's old. Like, he's 22.
Why?
So,
Umeanza mapema, why school things?
I know there was no social media nini.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's 22. I have got to speak to him about sexual issues, mental issues, of course, peer pressure, wanting to fit in. There's a lot of wanting to fit in. These other boys have this and that. So I still think that there's just even the TikTok and the rest should have some guidelines kidogo, because you might find that people who we consider underage, because access
guidelines
to phones
kidogo, right?
Kila mtu yuko, even my 7-year-old has a phone.
Bring guidelines, which is very important, right? And we have structures in the country that do have some kind of guidelines that we have to adhere to. Very hard to police, though. I want us to agree on one thing. You have a 22-year-old son, university age. Please don't be talking to him like this, and I beg you. What's his name?
Imran,
come here. Oh, you're going out, eh? It's Saturday. It's Saturday today. Are you going out? Nice. Where are you going? Are you going to that chemist? Also nice. Are the girls involved? And you're like, yeah, must be some girls there. Cool. Now, if any of those girls say, no, Imran, don't kill them. Don't kill that girl, right? I hope that's not how that conversation is going.
No, trust me. No. Imran, are you going out tonight? Yeah, where are you going? Okay,
I was so worried when this
cheki,
this
lazima
podcast
tukue
began.
na pia kuna si hivyo,
I have relief
lakini
now.
but I've still got to tell him. I mean, like you
relaxed
say
now.
it. Chill. Take a glass of water. Imran, are you going out? Yes, you're gonna meet people. Yeah, boys and girls. Yes, boys and girls. This is gonna happen. Whatever situation you get yourself into, or yourselves, walk away if it doesn't suit you. You get it. Yeah, it's
Just
easier
don't add.
Yeah.
Don't kill.
No, don't kill.
Imran,
Don't get
the
away
murder.
with it. Respect. Perhaps a no. Respect the boundary that someone else has created. Respect their whatever level of boundary. And that's
even that is difficult, because you have to also consider the words intoxication.
But sangine lazima ni
But still,
unajua, you do anything silly, my friend, you're behind bars.
Which silly? Like, you're really telling him not to kill this girl?
Wait, don't do something that will put you behind
What could that
police
be?
issue. Many things.
Could be what? Rape?
Could be rape, could be stabbing someone because they've gone out, could be disrespecting a girl, could be getting involved in killing someone.
Damn, man. Imran is really a dangerous boy. Eh?
Why he's not? He's as calm as his mom. But I have
to be wary around him. And every time I see him now, I'll be like...
But, I mean, I think you get the point.
Here.
I know you've always been stubborn, but you get the point. You get the point. I still think...
I'm the liberal guy here. I'm the guy saying...
Quite liberated.
I'm the liberal guy. I'm the stubborn guy.
How would you relay the message?
The way I just say it. I said, hey, man, there's going to be some girls involved. Look after each other. It's very important.
Look after... Absolutely.
On the health level.
I think your message is home.
Yes.
It's semantics here. Just how you put it out.
I'm just not going to tell him, okay, and if she says no, usimnyonge, bra. Usimpige rungu hapo kwa kichwa, man. That's not how it's done. No, I'm not saying that.
No. Okay.
I'm saying that for 21 years, they have raised this boy. comfortable in admitting publicly that I did a good job, and this boy ain't thinking about murdering no one, let alone a girl.
No, I don't think so. It's not about not trusting your child, but also as a parent. And I mean, when your kids grow a little older, and I have absolute every respect, particularly if I talk about my children, because 22 years later, I've lived with them and I know them. But I also know that, you know, there were things your parents didn't know about you. That you probably sneaked in, and you know, and I don't leave that to chance. So I don't bring it up because I don't.
I sneaked in and did what? Just say the whole thing.
No, many. Well,
did what? I sneaked in and did
Leo
what?
Sita Choma. So we leave that at that for now.
It's like that.
Yes, like that. So now, I want you to just because these guys are in this sphere, you know, they're socializing together. You know, just what are the right things to do? What are the things not to do? So because at the end of the day, it's also the girl respecting the boys. No, it's two-way.
You know, it's two ways, and I believe I firmly believe in consenting adults, even when it comes to the LGBTQ community. If there are two adults and they want to rock with the alphabets, let's go, baby. When you are below age of consent in this country, it's 18 years, so that for clarity, so that it's not like ni rika gani hapa mali tunaweza fanya hizi vitu. It's 18 years. Did I have sex before 18? Yes. Was it fun? Not really. No, it wasn't fun. It may have been exciting to the point of like, damn, I was doing this up to that point, but it wasn't fun. There are things you learn in life and you learn over time. We all do. Every single one of us. It's how we got here in the first place. So now, if I keep repeating myself, but it is what it is now, that's the nature of this conversation. If we are safe, if you're keeping each other safe, you know, using decent protection, contraception, doing it willingly, you know, not under the influence, not under coercion, not under peer pressure, you know, and that it doesn't affect your day-to-day functions, whether it's school, life.
So we say it's everything is must be consensual.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Not only consensual. It has to be under some level of consideration. I don't think that I'm going to advise a 25-year-old to go, male or female, to go on a sex spree with different partners for any reason, or even with one partner. I really believe that growing mentally over time is important, that being ready is important, right? I believe those things matter. I believe having other parts of your life together and then indulging after the fact can somehow make it easier, right? Because love, sex, those things are confusing. Man, I've had girls who've really ruined me. I'm still recovering, you know.
Ningekuuliza swali lakini acha niulize ingine before that.
Let's go.
Back to your media speciality and what you do. Is there something that you'd have done different, perhaps 10 or 15 years ago?
Yes.
That you feel, you know, where you are now, in your area of expertise?
Yes.
Is there any particular thing that you almost wish you did different then?
In what terms? As a career?
As a career.
Or a different career?
No, you as a media specialist, if you were to be taken 15 years, for example, 20 years, is there one thing you'd have done different?
No, nothing.
You're happy?
I'm good. Yeah. I think the accidents that brought me towards, you know, the goal that and objectives that I had in terms of career, well, what they were, and it was exciting. It was very nice. I think I've enjoyed the ride. I always knew, I'm one of maybe the lucky few people in this world who knew what they wanted by the time I was like 12.
And in the
by the time I was 10 even, I already knew. In
the knowing what you wanted to do,
yes.
And being a father of boys, and you know, maybe you don't know yet, and I know you don't, when you have boys as old as mine, they're so fixated in what they want to do. If your child came and told you they'd want to do something that is perhaps even outside of your thinking, would you be okay with that?
Describe the nature of what you're addressing.
You know, you're in your space, you know, art, drawing. You know, I just want to make money from TikTok, for example. I want to share content.
Would
you drive them to a choice of career, or would you support them in what they'd want to do?
They do what they do. They are not like me in any way. My kids are not like me. In not much.
Do you work for money or satisfaction?
I can answer scientifically, and I always answer scientifically.
So break it down like I'm a 2-year-old.
Because of life and the world and how it is in these modern times, money is the driving factor of life.
Yeah.
Right? So there is an amount of money that can be scientifically proven to be enough for a human being to survive comfortably. And I aspire for that, right? To live comfortably.
Yeah.
I like being on this couch, drinking from this pretty glass.
Yeah.
I like this world. This shit costs money.
Yeah.
And I like it. Now, do I want to own like those multi-story buildings in town or the new residential buildings? Do I want to drive even a VX, Land Cruiser, V8? No, I don't. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind a CX-5. I can live with that. It's like middle of the road. National uniform, but ni sawa tu. All school people, but wacha tu tuishi hivyo.
Hiyo white.
Wacha tu tuishi hivyo.
Nikiona mimi wanajiambia.
So I wouldn't mind.
I have manifested.
Right? And if I was given even a choice.
Yeah.
Daily driver, Land Cruiser, VX, V8, latest, greatest, box shape versus the CX-5. Even then I'm taking the CX-5.
Yeah.
No matter what's in my bank account. So I'm that type of guy, right?
So not wanting to be too specific to you,
yes.
But does media pay? Because kuna vijana wale wanawatch show, wanasema they've already told their parents, and I have some of the most stubborn parents who are very old, not so much in age, but in thinking, where they are, really forcing their children to go in, those kawaida courses, lazima ukwe mwalimu, ama ukwe polisi, ama ukwe accountant, right, lawyer, engineer. Yeah, because a lot of times they'll tell you, you need stability.
Sure. And so those are good courses.
And they are, and they are. However, these parents that I'm calling old school are not necessarily doing that. People are making money outside of those, so it's not necessary. So would people make money? Kuna mse anaangalia hapa anasema mimi ni mtu wa media, I want to get into production. Will they make money? Are they making money? Can they make money?
There is no short answer. How do you want me to answer? There's a short answer, there's a long answer.
I want the real answer.
Okay. Now, media as an industry is an elitist industry. If you don't have money, or you don't have access to money, or people with money, you can't even be there in the first place. You have to work yourself in somehow. You're either born into a family which has access to money that can get you close to those resources, or you have to start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like myself, start at the bottom. Had to make tea in the studio.
Yeah.
Had to sit behind somebody for 6-7 hours, and that all talking in the studio, you are not allowed to talk. Right? You're just there quietly, and you have to be very self-motivated. You have to learn how to learn with your eyes and your ears. So you get very fortunate to be in these places, right? Now, two things happening over time, right? So talent is important, hard work is important, like everything else, even if you wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah. I can't though. Well, I couldn't.
Right? So yeah. Applying yourself is important. Being disciplined is important. Yeah. And you'll make money.
I think my take home is just what Amin has said last. You've got to be disciplined, you've got to work hard, you've got to be a go-getter. And this cut across, in media, and even those professional courses that you want to, that is fundamentally it. Well, nasikia joto. Nafikiri, because this has been the rawest form of conversation we've had yet. And I'm sure it will elicit a lot of feedback, and therefore DM me, go to my social media pages. Are we on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook?